My fellow Americans, and non-Americans too, because I understand a lot of my audience isn't in America, so don't go away. Okay, this video is for everyone. It is an inclusive video. Anyways, last week I did my part. I did my civic duty as an American, and I went out and I voted in the election. And just as the title says, this video is about voting and why you should do it and some things that suck about it and how it can be improved. But don't worry, I know a lot of you don't like discussing politics. Y'all don't subscribe to me for politics. And don't worry, this video isn't political. It's educational. This is not gonna be a political video where I tell you who to vote for or what to believe in, because I don't participate in that. And I also wanna address some things that I've heard in my Discord, because apparently some of you kiddos think that voting is stupid and that you don't wanna do it. And I really wanna change your mind on that, because that's just not the right way to look at it. And I get lots of people don't like watching or talking about politics, because the current view of politics is people arguing over what they believe in and telling the other person to believe in what they believe in, and that is called toxic politicality. I mean, I just made that up, but I think it's a good name. So we'll just refer to that from now on as toxic politicality. Even though voting is an act that is associated with politics, it doesn't deserve the bad stigma that toxic politicality has. So toxic politicality has nothing to do with voting. Voting is just the act of using your voice and your right to try to get things to be the way that you want them to be. It's just you going to a ballot box or voting by the mail and just saying, hey, I want this. This is what I want. This is my choice. I mean, that's really simplified. But anyway, so in this video, I'm not gonna talk about politics. I'm just gonna talk about my experiences with voting and how I think the voting system should be improved, and also why you should vote. So I hope you stick around, because I feel since I have this platform, even though it's a very small platform, you know, my audience isn't the biggest, but I love you guys. Because I have this platform, I should at least use it to educate those who I can on important issues like voting. So today's video is about voting, so please stick around. So in my adult life, when I've had the right to vote, I've lived in 2 different cities, and they've done voting in 2 different ways. When I lived in Seattle,
off in liberal land,
it was actually kind of nice because I could vote from home. I could vote by mail. It was awesome. I got sent my packet, I got sent my voting card, and I got to read. I could look up the candidates on the computer. It was nice. It's like, oh, who is this person? What do they do? Maybe I should Google them to see if I agree with them, to see if they're gonna do things that I like or do something I don't like demonetize my channel. Okay, I mean, they're not gonna demonetize my channel, but you get what I mean. You want to know that the people you are voting for are doing things that you agree with, right? And obviously everyone agrees and disagrees with different things, and that's why you vote. Duh. So yeah, in Seattle, you could vote by mail, you could vote from home. You didn't need to take your time out of the day to get off work to go vote. But now, where I live, there's no voting by mail.
Tragic.
It's utterly stupid, okay? But it's not all bad, because there was actually a positive side effect to having to go in person to vote at the library.
really?
Let me tell you about that. So last week, I was like, I need a vote, so let me find my polling place. And I understand for a lot of people, that is a problem. You know, taking your time out of the day when you have a job to go in and vote, right? And it can be annoying in this day and age where it feels like your vote matters less and less because of the corporations and the corruption, which is why lots of people don't vote. So anyways, I drove to the library, I got out of my car, I started walking towards the library, and these people start walking up to me with little flyers. Apparently the freaking candidates for local government, I mean Bernie Sanders wasn't at my polling location saying, "Let me be clear, you need to vote for me." That was a terrible accent. Anyways, it was really nice, right? The people who are actually running for your local government are there to tell you what their issues are and there to talk to you, right? So yeah, the first guy came up to me, he's like, "Hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm running to be this representative for this seat. Let me tell you what I'm all about." And I was like, oh, that's good, this is good stuff, good stuff, man. And it was actually helpful, because otherwise, I was gonna go in knowing only about the presidential candidate that I wanted, but now I can actually make educated decisions on local government. And that's actually really important, because it's actually more important to vote for your local representatives, because they have more impact in your life. They impact your local taxes, your local education, all your local systems, right? So yeah, that was nice. So after I talked to this guy, I went walking further, and there was this huge crowd of more candidates who were running for like Congress, Senate, and all this other stuff. So being the social person I am, when I talked to these people, I was like, okay, who's running for office? Tell me what you're all about. And they all came and they all talked to me. Pro tip, people will ask you, what are the issues you care about? Don't tell them that, okay? You want to ask them, what are the issues they care about, and what are they going to do to make change on these issues, right? Because if you tell them about what you care about, it may not be the first thing on their agenda. They're just gonna tell you what they want to hear, because that's how people are, right? Like, maybe they do agree with you on a certain topic, but it's really freaking low on their priorities list. Whereas another candidate, it's higher on their priorities list, right? For example, if YouTube was a democracy and people were running for president of YouTube, and I went to them and I was like, hey, I'm a small creator, I care about my videos going to a new audience, and I told that to the candidate, they'd be like, yeah, I think it's important for small creators to get their videos viewed by everyone, right? But that might be like low on their list. Whereas there might be one YouTube candidate, I can only hope, where they're like, we need to make smaller creators who make quality content like unwanted commentary to be visible on the recommended page. Doesn't that sound great? If it sounds great, subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. But anyways, you know what I'm saying, right? You don't want to let the person know what you want to hear. You want to know what they actually have to say. So this was nice. I got to talk to the different candidates about why I should vote for them. And it was kind of cool. It was kind of weird because some of them were like, are you going to vote for me? I'm running against him. I'm like, dude, you really think I'm going to tell you and the other person who I just talked to that I'm voting for you and not for you? It's like, come on, bruh. But anyways, after I talked to those people, I get in the library. This is where I encountered the line. Line? I hate lines! So, in order to vote in person, there is a line. And thank goodness I am on Crohn's disease medication.
Because if I wasn't,
I would not survive this line. I would have to go to the bathroom multiple times. And I can only imagine how hard voting is for other people with autoimmune diseases and other disabilities. Voting should be accessible for everyone, whether you have disabilities or not. So yeah, you know, it would be nice to have a mail-in vote option, which is actually one of the things that I got to vote on that day, is should people be able to vote from home by mail, which I did vote for. Anyways, I'm in line and I'm like, why is this line going so slowly? And I look at the front of the line and this whole voting operation is being run by boomers. Boomers. Since when? You don't typically associate boomers with speedy and efficient. And speedy and efficient is something that you would want for an election. When people are taking time out of their precious day to vote, you should make it speedy for them. But to be completely honest, it wasn't actually that slow. I was impressed. I was impressed by these boomers. They were really quick. They knew how to operate the technology. They weren't making mistakes. It was actually really nice. So can we get a round of applause for the boomers who are working the polling stations? Anyways, so I get to the front of the line. I do my registration. And then I go to the voting machine. Hello, sorry for the interruption, Coco from the future here, because I forgot to mention something that is really important. Because, you know, I didn't have a script or anything, which maybe I should do. Anyway, basically, when I was at the counter, when I was trying to register, the boomer lady, she asked me, which party are you voting for? You know, in my mind, you should be able to vote for a candidate based on the candidate and not their party. Right? I'm a Democrat, but maybe there's a Republican with some good ideas. It's not completely impossible, right? Or maybe you're just like trying to sneak some people into the other party, like some Democrats in Republicans' clothing, so you vote for them, right? I mean, that's probably unethical. But I think it's dumb that you can only vote for candidates in a certain party, right? I feel like a proper democracy allows you to vote on representatives based on the representatives and not their party affiliation, right? I think the whole two-party system in America is pretty stupid, but I want to avoid that because that's actually the political talk. So let's get back to where I was before I interrupted this with my stupid. So I get to the front of the line, I do my registration, and then I go to the voting machine. It's kind of nice that you don't have to vote with paper. You just click buttons on the touchscreen and then it prints out the card and you submit the card. Anyways, it was kind of funny because I saw Andrew Yang on the ballot, but I wasn't about to waste my vote Rest in peace, Yang Gang. You were my guy, Yang. You were my guy. Maybe some other time. But yeah. Hello there! I am once again back from the future because my dumb forgot to mention something really important. So it was kind of weird that Andrew Yang and Cory Booker and all these other people who had dropped out of the race were still on the ballot. I mean, that's just confusing. It's irresponsible, okay? Because imagine if there's a person that was gonna vote for one of these candidates and they weren't up to date, they didn't know that the candidate is actually out of the race. They'd probably just end up voting for them, and that means it would be a useless vote. If you vote for someone who isn't in the race, it's just a waste of a vote, especially since it's an electronic system. There are some shenanigans there. I guess they don't want these machines updatable because then you could have some shenanigans from Russia or even, Americans where they're like, we don't like this candidate. We're just gonna remove this candidate. So I think that's why, like my friend, he told me he had paper ballots. But anyways, he told me that all the old candidates were on his paper ballots as well. So, I mean, I guess the system works for a reason. Now back to the video. So one of the major flaws that I see with voting is that there are a lot of candidates that 99.999% of people don't even know about. There are like 10 judges I had to vote for. I didn't know who they were, right? So it would be helpful for you to get some sort of guide where it's like, oh, this is the person, these are the issues they're running on, to help people make educated decisions, right? Though there is a problem with that because if you do have people at the polling machines and they're doing all this research at the polling machines, it's gonna make the line even longer. So it's nice what they did in Seattle where they just sent you a booklet with all the people and all their issues so you could look it up beforehand. So let's refine it. It would be nice if local governments would have all their candidates just write up a blurb about themselves, maybe have a nice picture so they could compile it into a booklet and then mail it to you or email it to you and be like, before the election, research all these people and decide beforehand who you're gonna vote for, and then go into the office and take your list and just submit everyone from your list and vote really quickly like that. But let's be honest, most people are too lazy to even research. I mean, I didn't really research, but I think I did more than the average citizen. Anyways, that whole experience was pretty good. It was a really nice experience. Oh my God, how could I forget? The best part of voting is the little I voted sticker that you get. I mean, I don't have the sticker anymore because I did it a couple days ago, but getting that sticker to take a picture and post to Instagram and say, hey people, I voted. I'm better than you if you didn't vote. That's not true. Or is it? I wonder, there is probably some statistically significant figure about how having I voted stickers actually compels people to vote. As people are so dumb, but it works. Psychology. I just want to thank you if you're still watching because I understand that this is pretty boring, but it's interesting to me, okay? And I try to make it entertaining with little entertaining tidbits. I think I'm an interesting person. Even though I can't speak English sometimes. But yeah, now that was my experience with voting. We talked about the UX, the user experience, how some things are good, how some things are bad, how we can improve the process. Now I want to address the people on Discord, the kiddos, who think,
oh, voting is stupid. I don't want to vote. There's no point. Voting's too political and I don't like politics.
Okay, child, voting is not dumb. Let us make an example that you'll probably be able to understand. So let's say your teacher in school, they're like, class, we're gonna have a vote whether there is homework this week or no homework. You get to vote. Most of you be like, nah, I got better things to do than homework, right? I'm gonna go do my side hustle. I'm gonna work on my YouTube channel. I don't need to be doing stupid math problems. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay? So a lot of you are gonna be like, okay, I wanna vote for no homework. But some of you suck-ups are gonna be like,
oh my God, I love homework. I love your teacher. Oh my God.
Y'all are gonna want homework, right? So y'all are all allowed to vote for what you want. If you want homework, vote for homework. If you don't want homework, don't vote for homework, right? It only gets toxic when the people who want homework start yelling at the people who don't want homework and being like,
oh my God, people, you should vote to have homework, okay? Because homework does
blah, 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 blah. Okay, right? Like, I understand political discourse is important, but politics gets really annoying when you start pushing your views onto other people and trying to change the way they think, okay? So, I know there's a lot of nuance there. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but you get my point. You can vote peacefully for homework or no homework, and you know how democracy works? The most votes wins. Unless you have a corrupt government. Which brings me to my next point. A lot of people don't want to vote because they feel,
Oh, it's so corrupt. Oh, the company.
yes, there is a lot of corruption. Yes, the corporations lobby and speak with money. It is very horrible. But in America, you have a voice and you should exercise your right to vote, okay? Because there are people in other countries, hundreds of millions of people, maybe billions of people. You know, I actually had to look this up because I thought they didn't get to vote in China. Apparently they get to vote in China, but you know how China is, okay? Anyways, there are tons of people that don't get to vote. And if you don't use your right to vote, you shouldn't complain when policies get passed that you don't want, but you did nothing, you did absolutely nothing to stop it from happening. Okay, so go vote. It's very important. It may seem like your voice is really small, but the point is, don't think that your voice doesn't matter. Because your voice does matter. Every person that leaves a good comment in my comment section, I read and I reply to, and it makes my day, okay? So, doesn't matter. So, just go vote, leave a nice comment, and every links in the description, and never share your password.